Thank you for listening. This course was created to help you succeed in your educational journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional podcasts, books, newsletters, and cool merchandise await. Let's get started. AI security ultimately runs on people. Tools can filter, models can refuse, and dashboards can alert. But human judgment decides what to build, how to deploy it, and when to pull a lever under pressure. Your staff are the first line of defense because they control prompts, data flows, credentials, and the operational habits that either tighten or loosen risk. The same proximity gives rise to insider threats. Malice, coercion, burnout, or simple curiosity can all lead to misuse. That is why skill requirements matter. Teams need literacy in model behavior, data handling, identity hygiene, and the limits of automated guardrails. Training is not a one-off orientation. It is the ongoing discipline that keeps people's mental models aligned with a fast-moving threat landscape. When humans understand both the power and brittleness of AI systems, they make calmer, safer choices in ambiguous moments. Strong programs are built on visible, repeatable processes. How we work must be as concrete as code, with structured workflows that define intake, review, approval, deployment, and monitoring for every AI change. These processes sit inside governance, not beside it. Policy gates are encoded as steps, evidence is captured as you go, and exceptions are time-limited with named owners. Risk management is integrated rather than tacked-on impact scoring. Control selection and compensating measures occur before launch, not after incidents. Clear escalation pathways ensure uncertainty moves upward quickly. Who to page, what context to provide, and what temporary controls to activate while facts are gathered. Good process reduces cognitive load. Under stress, teams follow the map they practiced, preserving velocity without gambling on memory or heroics. Roles give processes hands and voices. Security engineers own the protective fabric around AI pipelines, identity, secrets, network policy, logging, and the guardrails that mediate tool calls. Data scientists monitor models in the wild drift, toxicity, refusal rates, and odd tool use patterns, and partner on mitigations that preserve usefulness. Compliance officers translate laws and standards into testable controls, mapping obligations to checkpoints and evidence so audits become verification rather than scavenger hunts. Executives sponsor the program and remove roadblocks, setting expectations that safety gates are schedule features, not delays. Clear handoffs prevent gaps. When a risky signal fires, who investigates first, who can pause endpoints, who informs customers, and who decides on rollback. When every role knows its boundaries and neighbors, accountability feels supportive rather than punitive. Insider threat risks require sober, specific mitigations. Privileged access can be misused to exfiltrate training data, peek at confidential prompts, or permute evaluation sets to bury red flags. Datasets can be manipulated, labels flipped, poison shards added, provenance obscured, so that models learn the wrong lessons. Sensitive prompts or retrieval corpora can leak through careless sharing or personal backup habits. Model checkpoints, if sabotaged or swapped, can degrade behavior or open quiet backdoors that only a few know how to trigger. Counter these patterns with least privileged design, dual control for high-impact actions, immutable logging, and peer review for data and model changes. Pair technical controls with cultural clarity, speak openly about temptation and pressure, offer anonymous reporting, and rotate duties so no single person sits alone with unobserved power for long stretches. Documentation is oxygen for process under stress. Playbooks describe incident scenarios in plain language, with the first 10 minutes spelled out. What to capture, what to pause, and who takes point. Procedures for monitoring define which dashboards to watch, how to interpret anomalies, and when to escalate. Role-based accountability charts make responsibilities, visible owners, backups, and decision rights, so substitutes can step in without drama. Audit readiness is built in by design. Templates collect evidence as work happens. Manifests describe model lineage and data rights, and tickets link changes to approvals and evaluations. When documentation is part of the workflow rather than an afterthought, it serves the people doing the work first, auditors second, and both benefit. The aim is reproducibility. The same inputs produce the same safe outcomes, regardless of who is on call. Training programs keep skills fresh and aligned. Engineers need secure coding for AI systems, prompt handling, sandboxing agents, secrets hygiene, and telemetry design that supports forensics. Everyone needs awareness of adversarial risks, prompt injection, data leakage, model theft, and the everyday signals that something is off. Managers require governance training, how to interpret risk assessments, when to demand stronger evidence, and how to balance velocity with safety without rewarding shortcuts. Refreshers matter because threats evolve. Short, frequent modules beat annual marathons. Mix formats microlearning, tabletop drills, red team exercises, and post-incident debriefs to turn abstract ideas into muscle memory. The best programs measure outcomes. Fewer exceptions, faster triage, and cleaner handoffs after training show that knowledge has moved from slides into daily habits. Separation of duties prevents any one person or team from holding unchecked power over critical systems. In practice, it means splitting creation from approval, operations from audit, and data access from model release. A maker-checker pattern requires that model changes, dataset updates, and prompt revisions receive independent validation before promotion. Dual control governs high-impact actions such as rotating production keys, modifying retrieval corpora, or altering guardrail policies. Service accounts are purpose-scoped and time-boxed, so engineers cannot quietly self-elevate at 2 a.m. Dashboards make accountability visible: who requested, who approved, what evidence was reviewed. The goal is not bureaucracy. It is shared responsibility that catches mistakes, deters misuse, and builds confidence that decisions reflect more than one person's judgment. When separation is designed into tools and workflows, it feels like safety rails rather than red tape. Change management gives AI systems a safe way to evolve. Every modification model weights, prompts, datasets, embeddings, agent tools moves through a standardized path. Design notes, risk assessment, security review, and sign-off by named owners. Approvals are proportional to impact. Low-risk updates go fast, while high-risk changes require deeper evaluation and, when appropriate, legal or compliance checks. Rollback planning is explicit. Artifacts are versioned, blue-green or canary releases limit blast radius, and known good checkpoints sit ready. Security sign-off is a real gate that checks guardrails, telemetry coverage, and incident playbooks before traffic ramps. Emergency changes exist, but they trigger automatic retrospectives and short-fuse follow-ups to harden controls. Treat change like a product release with quality bars and runbooks, and surprises turn into planned steps that teams can execute calmly, even on busy days. Incident handling processes convert stress into choreography. Clear response steps define roles for triage, investigation, containment, and recovery, with decision trees that reflect AI-specific issues like prompt injection, data leakage, or agent tool abuse. Escalation channels are pre-wired. Severity levels map to paging lists, legal and communications join when thresholds are crossed, and executives receive succinct situation reports at set intervals. Stakeholder notifications are templated and evidence-based, explaining what is impacted, what is contained, and when the next update will arrive. Continuous improvement is baked in through post-incident reviews that capture lessons, assign fixes, and update playbooks, evaluation suites, and training. The measure of maturity is not the absence of incidents, but the presence of predictable, ethical, auditable responses that protect people, data, and trust, while preserving the artifacts investigators need to learn. Process metrics turn workflows into signals you can steer by. Mean time to respond shows how quickly teams move from alert to action and whether handoffs are smooth. Training completion rates correlate with fewer errors. Segment them by role so you see if engineers, analysts, and managers are equally prepared. Compliance coverage indicates how many services shipped with required artifacts, risk assessments, provenance manifests, guardrail evaluations, so audits become verification rather than scavenger hunts. Audit success rates, including closure timelines for findings, reveal whether governance sticks. Add leading indicators: playbook test frequency, red team exercise outcomes, and the percentage of changes with rollback rehearsed. Metrics must feed decisions budget, headcount, and gating criteria, or they risk becoming wallpaper. When leaders ask what improved because of this number, you know measurement is serving the mission. People and process face predictable headwinds. Skill shortages in AI security make reviews bottleneck on a few specialists, while siloed structures fragment responsibility across security, data science, and product. Inconsistent frameworks force every team to reinvent definitions and controls, and cultural resistance appears when staff perceive governance as drag rather than scaffolding. Counter with layered remedies. Create role paths and training that grow AI literate, security engineers, and security literate data scientists. Form communities of practice that share patterns and postmortems. Adopt a single control framework mapped to laws and standards, and prove that paved roads ship faster by design. Celebrate behaviors, not just outcomes, closing exceptions, writing clearer playbooks, and mentoring peers. Culture changes when safe performance is recognized in the same forums that celebrate features. The strategic role of people and process is to embed accountability where work actually happens. Proactive defense emerges when teams anticipate failure modes, run drills, and fix weak signals before incidents escalate. Alignment with governance turns policy into a living system, gates and pipelines, evidence in tickets, and decisions recorded in ways auditors and customers can test. Enterprise resilience grows as roles and cadences survive staff changes and scaling pressures. The program does not depend on heroes or memory. This human infrastructure is the multiplier for every tool you buy and control you design. When staff understand their part, feel supported by clear workflows, and can practice under low stakes, they respond with steadier judgment and speed when it counts. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Process automation tools turn good intentions into reliable motion. Incident ticketing systems capture alerts with standardized fields, route them to the right responders, and preserve timelines for audit and learning. Workflow orchestration platforms connect the steps triage, evidence capture, containment levers, stakeholder updates, so handoffs are automatic rather than ad hoc. Automated compliance checks run in the background. Pull requests fail when prompts lack red team notes. Builds block if model cards or provenance manifests are missing, and deployments pause until risk assessments are signed. Monitoring dashboards then provide the shared glass, service health, safety metrics, exception counts, and training completion surface in one place, so leaders and practitioners see the same truth. The aim is not to replace judgment, it is to remove toil and reduce variance, ensuring that the right thing happens the same way every time, even at 2 a.m. on a Friday. Scaling processes requires templates that travel and rules that flex. Start by turning common actions into repeatable packets, incident playbooks, evaluation plans, access reviews, so teams in different time zones work from the same starting point. Global distribution of teams demands respect for local laws and cultures, which is why federated governance matters. Domain stewards handle routine approvals within a shared standard, while central bodies set baselines and arbitrate exceptions. Consistent enforcement arrives through policy as code, not memos. The same admission checks, CI gates, and evidence schemas run in every region. Feedback loops keep templates honest. Metrics reveal where steps stall, retros add missing context, and versioned updates roll out like software. When scale is framed as a design problem rather than a heroism challenge, velocity increases without the chaos that usually accompanies growth. Education is not an event. It is a stream. Ongoing awareness campaigns keep risks visible in a human tone, connecting headlines and internal learnings to the daily choices people make. Microlearning modules respect attention limits by delivering short, focused lessons. How to recognize prompt injection patterns. How to classify data correctly. How to request an exception, followed by quick checks for understanding. Role-specific refreshers ensure depth where it matters. Engineers practice secure agent patterns. Analysts rehearse anomaly triage. Managers learn to read risk dashboards and make gating calls. Content adapts as threats evolve. When a new jailbreak trend appears or a policy changes, a fresh module ships within days, not quarters. Measure outcomes rather than attendance. Fewer exceptions, cleaner reviews, and faster containment after training are the signals that knowledge has turned into habit, which is the only metric that counts. Leaders set the climate in which security lives or withers. Prioritization starts on the roadmap. Safety gates appear as planned work, not surprise blockers, and teams know funding exists for guardrails, observability, and resilience. Budgets back promises, time for drills, headcount for reviewers, and tools that automate evidence capture. Accountability is enforced consistently. Exceptions are time-boxed, owners are named, and missed remediation dates escalate predictably. Reporting closes the loop. Executives receive concise, repeated measures training coverage, incident response times, control adoption, and they communicate progress upward to boards and outward to stakeholders. The message that sticks is simple. Secure, compliant operation is part of product quality. When leaders speak and spend that way, staff align behavior quickly. When they do not, even the best playbooks struggle to get traction. Tight integration with the Security Operations Center prevents duplicated effort and dropped balls. Align alert formats and severities, so model anomalies, agent tool abuses, and data leakage signals land in the same triage queues as identity and network events. Coordinate during incidents with pre-assigned roles. SOC handles first-line correlation and containment levers, while AI specialists analyze prompts, outputs, and model versions. Role clarity avoids thrash society drives the case, data science supplies deep context, legal and communications join when thresholds are crossed. Shared dashboards and case systems keep everyone on the same page, and post-incident reviews feed detector improvements back into both pipelines. The result is rhythm. The SOC's 24/7 discipline amplifies AI expertise, and AI-aware playbooks raise the SOC's signal-to-noise. Together they shorten chaos and lengthen calm. Cross-functional collaboration turns silos into a safety net. Security engineers and AI researchers align on evaluation suites, agreeing on red team scenarios, metrics, and thresholds so safety does not lag performance. Compliance and legal integrate early, translating obligations into concrete artifacts, risk assessments, labels, manifests, and validating them before launch rather than after headlines. Operations coordinates capacity, rollback drills, and on-call rotations, so changes land smoothly and recovery paths are real. Shared responsibility is practical, not rhetorical. Each function owns specific steps, signs specific evidence, and participates in specific drills. Regular forums, design reviews, postmortems, and threat briefings. Keep vocabulary aligned and trust high. When collaboration is routine, you get fewer surprises, faster decisions, and systems that behave as designed when stakes are high. Reduced likelihood of insider abuse is one of the most tangible gains from strong people and process design. Least privilege access narrows what any single person can touch. Separation of duties requires a second set of eyes for high-impact changes. And immutable, searchable logs create certainty about who did what, when, and why. These mechanics change incentives. Misuse is harder to attempt, easier to detect, and faster to remediate. Culture amplifies the controls, rotations, peer reviews, and blameless escalation make it normal to speak up when something looks off. Training closes the loop by keeping staff current on the social engineering cues and technical weak points adversaries exploit. You cannot eliminate intent, but you can starve opportunity and reduce payoff. Over time, incidents shift from "we never saw it coming" to "we caught it early and contained it," which is the mark of a program that protects both people and the mission. Faster response to incidents follows naturally from practiced choreography. Pre-assigned roles remove the negotiation that often burns the first precious minutes. Templated stakeholder updates prevent wordsmithing during stress, and automation hooks pre-stage containment levers so operators can revoke tokens, pause endpoints, or flip traffic with one click. Regular tabletop exercises and red team drills expose brittle steps before they matter, turning ad hoc improvisation into smooth handoffs and clear decision points. Integration with the Security Operations Center ensures AI-specific anomalies enter the same queues and severity scales as identity or network events, making triage familiar. Metrics: mean time to respond, mean time to contain, mean time to recover. Focus improvement on the slowest links instead of broad exhortations to go faster. The result is less chaos and more cadence. Incidents still happen, but they unfold along a path you've walked often enough to trust. Stronger compliance posture emerges when workflows generate evidence as a byproduct of doing the work. Risk assessments, model cards, data use attestations, and provenance manifests are created in the same systems that build and deploy, not gathered from memory before an audit. Change approvals, red team results, and rollback rehearsals are linked to releases. Incident timelines and remediation tasks live in ticketing with owners and due dates, and training completion rolls up by role and business unit. A single control framework, mapped to applicable laws and standards, keeps terminology consistent across teams and geographies. When auditors or customers ask, "Show me," retrieval is seconds, not weeks, and the picture they see is coherent. Compliance shifts from a quarterly scramble to an operational property you can measure, manage, and improve. That credibility pays off in procurement, regulator engagement, and board oversight, shrinking friction and freeing time for better engineering. Higher trust in AI systems is the outcome stakeholders feel, even if they never see your playbooks. Users encounter consistent disclosures, provenance labels on official media, clear recourse when something seems wrong, and steady behavior under load. Internal teams trust the systems they run because guardrails are visible, logs are complete, and recovery paths are rehearsed. Executives trust reports because metrics are stable, definitions are shared, and surprises are rare. Partners and regulators trust your program because you publish expectations for vendors, respond precisely to incidents, and correct issues with artifacts they can test. Trust does not mean naivete. It means confidence that when failures occur, and they will, you will detect them, bound them, learn from them, and communicate honestly. People and process make that reliability legible, converting sophisticated technology into dependable service that others can plan around without holding their breath. Stepping back, this episode framed the human layer that turns architecture into action. We covered the human element and insider risks, the structured workflows that align with governance, role clarity across security engineers, data scientists, compliance officers, and executives, and the documentation that keeps incidents and monitoring reproducible. We emphasized training as a continuous stream, not a one-time course, separation of duties and change management as guardrails for safe evolution, and incident handling as practiced choreography with clear escalation and stakeholder communication. We connected process metrics to decisions and acknowledged challenges, skills, silos, frameworks, and culture paired with leadership behaviors that fund, prioritize, and reinforce what matters. These patterns do not eliminate uncertainty. They make uncertainty routine, so teams respond with steadiness instead of surprise. Looking ahead, we'll translate these habits into program management patterns that scale, portfolios of risks tied to budgets, backlogs that blend feature and guardrail work, quarterly business reviews that track safety alongside speed, and cross-team roadmaps that coordinate controls without slowing delivery. You will see how metrics you already collect, training coverage, response times, control adoption roll up into objectives, and key results that steer investment. We'll also cover operating rhythms that bind distributed teams' cadence of drills, refresh cycles for playbooks, and threat-led updates that keep controls current. The destination is a management system where people, process, and technology move together, predictable, auditable, and resilient, without becoming rigid. With that scaffolding, your organization can scale AI confidently, knowing that accountability grows in step with capability. Thanks for tuning in to Bare Metal Cyber, your trusted source for cybersecurity educational materials, news, and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.